Hi guys, my name is LC.
My name is JT.
And welcome to the F1 Debate Show. Now in this episode we're going to be talking about Mercedes' fall of dominance after the Spanish Grand Prix. Now, the start of the 2016 season was fantastic for Mercedes with the domination of Nico Rosberg. He came, after 2015, he came from 3 races on the trot, so he's heading in, see a good haul of races to start the 2016 season off. Australia, he was on top. Nico Rosberg won the race. Nico won in Bahrain. Nico won in China. Nico won in Russia. And Nico won... Oh no, wait. What did happen to Nico, and Lewis for that matter, in Spain, JT?
Well, everything that could have went wrong, to be fair. I mean, Lewis went for a gap that really Nico closed. And sort of Lewis went round on the grass and crashed into the back of his teammate.
He did.
So,
it was incredible. Now, guys, if you haven't, obviously, first watched our review, then secondly, watch the race, and I'm sure you've seen it already, the crash and the aftermath and all that's boiled up. Now we're going to talk about what's the aftermath of that between the two Mercedes drivers, between the Mercedes team, and what the outcome is for the rest of the season for Nico and Lewis. So Nico Rosberg has 7 wins in a row. He already has that. He's matched Michael Schumacher's record. No one can take that away from him. But obviously, his going for 8 and going on for that is halted. So he can't chase Sebastian Vettel's record anymore this time around. He might do next, say, the rest of this season, next season, and whatever. But to be honest, I'd say no, because I can't see Nico having a better chance of going for 8 in a row, 9 in a row, and even 10 in a row to hold a new record. What do you think, JT? Do you think you'll ever have another chance to do this?
I don't think he would this season, because I think that maybe the pressure obviously definitely got to Lewis, and I think the confidence and the boost from Nico has certainly been dropped. And obviously he will definitely be gutted that he's lost this 7 race winning streak. He was going for 8, and obviously tied with Schumacher going for Vettel, and now that's all gone from him. And I don't think, as like I said, I don't think he's going to get another opportunity like this. Lewis Hamilton will probably come back stronger. He did perform well in qualifying. Nico got a great start off the line, and obviously Lewis was going back for him, which obviously then caused the crash. I think Lewis will definitely come back a stronger driver, and obviously let's not forget the main man right now, Max Verstappen.
Yep.
Sebastian Vettel will always be there, so I reckon he'll win a couple of races here and there towards the end of the season. So I think this is Nico's chance gone, to be fair. Maybe it'll happen next season.
Yeah.
It could happen as last season into this season. It could from 2016 to 2017, but I really don't think that Nico's got another chance.
But as you said, JC, just as you said that, I mean, it'll definitely, because this season, obviously bar the Spanish Grand Prix, we'd only seen one race winner. So technically, we started the F1 Debate Show this year, so we've only seen
one race. We've only talked about one man winning the race.
Well, so obviously so far before Sunday we'd only talk about one man, and there'll definitely be other people to chuck it in, but I think Nico at the moment, definitely for a good few seasons maybe, I mean obviously the World Championship is a different story, the 2 is consecutive wins, but obviously they're over at the moment, and he might not have a good chance for a long time, but as I say, he does hold that. He's matched Michael Schumacher's record. I'm not sure whose name will come up first when you look it up on Wikipedia or whatever. I'm not sure whose name will come up first, but it'll definitely say Michael Schumacher 2004 matched by Nico Rosberg in 2016. So incredible for him. Now the crash, JT. Now this was obviously that was massive. 2 of the biggest team in the championship. Obviously with the current champion Lewis Hamilton in that team. So who do you think will be more angry? Who do you think would have been more angry at the crash? Because you've got Nico, who was obviously going for 8, going for 125 points or an extra 25 points on the championship and retaining his lead even more so at the top. But then also you've got Lewis Hamilton, who by the way has let 4 races, and this is the 5th race. He's let 4 races slip through his fingers that he hasn't won, and he's slipping down. He's in 3rd position at the moment in the championship. So who do you think would have been more disheartened by that crash?
Well, you could see the expression from Lewis's face when he started rolling onto the gravel. He had his hands in his head, and obviously that pretty much said it all. I think from that on, I think Lewis knew that he did make a mistake going for that gap when he should have went round the outside. Nico probably wouldn't have seen him, but then people Hamilton fans would be saying, "Oh, Rosberg shut him out." You know what I mean? Pushed him wide and stuff. Whereas like Hamilton, and that'll be just continue on like a massive debate for like the next God knows how long till probably Monaco and probably onwards like that.
Oh yeah.
But and I mean, Rosberg, it could be like, well, I didn't see him. I just went, as normally would, took the line. Perhaps maybe if he did see him, he could try to block him out, but obviously not. Maybe shove him on the grass. You know what I mean? Just racing and stuff, which is what the stewards have said. That's the outcome. But obviously, whenever a steward's outcome happens, the media and everything tend to go on with it.
Yeah.
And they don't really shut about it up until till everything's calmed down again. But so yeah, it is a race incident, as the stewards have came out and said, literally like probably about a couple of hours after the race, and we've just got to deal with it now.
Yeah.
And just move on with it. And obviously this will run on for God knows how long. And obviously the main bosses at Mercedes will probably be very, very angry and disappointed with them two drivers right now.
Yeah.
So obviously, our cracks starting to show at Mercedes, which is pretty much what this episode is pretty much based on. You know what I mean? So yeah.
It's, as JT said, obviously, the bosses, obviously people like Paddy Lowe, Toto Wolff, Niki Lauda, were incredibly angry at that. As I say, they all went up to the Mercedes treehouse in the paddock during the race, after the first lap calamities. Yeah. And they've come out with their statements. Now, as JT said, a few hours after the race, the FIA stewards said that no penalty was going to be given to either driver, and a statement came out on Monday afternoon, which just confirmed that, obviously, a big article which was stating, car number 6 and car number 44, obviously Nico Rosberg, car number 6, and car number 44, Lewis Hamilton, and that no penalties or sanctions would be given to those drivers. What do you think of the outcome, JT? Do you think someone should have got a penalty? Do you think someone should have been told off? Obviously, there's a very wide spectrum in terms of punishments that the FIA can give.
It is a hard one to call. As like I said before, it's one or the other. And maybe the stewards have just said, look, a bit like what we're talking about. Look, right, Nico did this. Hamilton went for the gap. He misjudged it. Rosberg, there was a possibility he couldn't have seen him. They probably heard from both sides of the story. And obviously the stewards just said, look, right, it's a racing incident. And that's it. Which obviously left a few fans very disappointed. I've seen a picture on Facebook where it says, like, where they were racing in Bahrain, it was like, oh, this is racing, Lewis, and that type of thing, defending Lewis. And then it comes to obviously that incident, and it's like, what are you doing, Nico? He didn't leave room for him, and it's like, well, you could say the favourite Hamilton over Nico, but and obviously the gap between those two drivers still remains the same. And obviously Rosberg has got a bit of a closer gap now with Kimi Räikkönen there, so he'll be feeling the pressure of the current flying Finn right now. Obviously the guy in form, I would say at the moment, definitely improving from what probably this time last season, I would say. Obviously in second place, doing very well so far. Beating his teammate who's won four world championships on the bounce, showing cracks again this season. So it is a bit of a topsy-turvy season. This just pretty much adds fuel to the fire. Those two drivers crashing into each other.
Yeah, it does. Just as you mentioned there about the team, like having favourites. I mean, should there or shouldn't there not? Obviously, Lewis is the reigning champion, and Nico has just won a handful of races for them at the moment. But in terms of, obviously, they had to agree between themselves, who was at fault before they faced the media, and they all have in drips and drabs. Obviously, Paddy Lowe is yet to speak to the media as team principal. Toto Wolff and Niki Lauda have been the two at the top. Now, their stories have been very much set aside. Obviously, Toto saying that it was just a racing incident, but at the end of the day, that Hamilton should have yielded, as Nico was going for 8 wins. But if anything, the more shocking one was Niki Lauda, JT, who said that Hamilton was 100% at fault and even wanted an apology to him. I don't know if he has apologised to Nico yet, but Niki, he wanted an apology from Lewis. And it also says in the news that, I'm not sure who he said it to, probably Niki, but he said that Lewis has taken 100% responsibility for the crash. Now, as I said, Lewis, he's obviously world champion, going for 4 this year. So I don't know if he'd admit to that much in the media, come Monaco or through the week. But yeah, I mean, obviously Niki Lauda feeling, the non-executive chairman of Mercedes, feeling very much that it's Lewis's fault. obviously he's on the back foot this season. He's going for 1 race win compared to Nico, who's going for 8. So he should have kind of, even if he thought that there was a problem, he should have yielded. Obviously, as you know, Nico blocked him off, which I guess in Nicky's eyes, it should have been that Lewis should have just, as I say, just pulled off. So what do you think of Nicky's bold statement, JT? Do you think it's Lewis at fault? Or, I mean, in his position, obviously, as I say, non-executive chairman of Mercedes, he's very high up. Do you think he should be pointing fingers so much and so harshly at Lewis Hamilton?
Well, if he's one of the higher ranks in the Mercedes team, then obviously he's definitely going to have a say. I mean, it's Nicky Lauda, you know what I mean? He's one of the most honest people in the planet.
Yeah.
He says how it is, a bit like Bernie Eccleston. He'll just say how it is, you know what I mean? And it's good to see people like him. But if you accuse one driver and not the other one, it's like, well, is Lauda favouring Rosberg over Hamilton? I mean, should that really be happening? Or is he just saying, look, Hamilton, you made a mistake. Nothing can be done about it. It doesn't change. The outcome doesn't change the result. In my opinion, it was your fault. But let's move on to Monaco. Let's try and redeem yourself and get some points and try and get ahead of the Ferraris and Red Bulls. And I mean, obviously, Nicky Lauda's been a big fan of Hamilton even before his Mercedes days. McLaren, he said loads of times, "Oh, this kid's next to be."
Yeah, he brought him into Mercedes. Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean? Obviously replacing Michael Schumacher, and again, big boots to fill, and he's done that superbly.
Yeah.
But I think this season reminds me a bit like 2009, where Hamilton obviously came off obviously not 2 World Championships, but he came off his first World Championship from the Ways. Comes into 09 and he starts the season really badly.
Yeah.
Obviously the car was standard, but again, there was pressure showing as well, because you had like Brawn and Red Bull, and obviously a little bit of Toyota thrown in there as well, a bit like Ferrari and Red Bull as well, you know what I mean? So obviously a bit of a pressure start in the season, but I think Hamilton certainly doesn't. He needs the results now.
Oh, he does.
He needs a win in Monaco, definitely, because it's. I mean, could this be the first ever season in Lewis Hamilton's Formula 1 career where he doesn't win a race?
I mean, that is unbelievable. I mean, Max Verstappen, he's the second winner, as we said. So we've seen 2 winners in our F1 debate show careers, JT. We've seen a German who's been on top, well, for a very long time. I was getting kind of sick of saying his name. And then obviously this incredible 18-year-old boy from the Netherlands, which everyone is thrilled about. As I say, witnessing history, but we're not going to get too excited like we did on Sunday, because, I mean, I've just finally calmed down from all the celebrating and all that.
I have as well.
And
I'm still hungover.
I'm not sure how much Formula 1 they like in the Netherlands, but I'm sure they'll have been having parties and all that.
But apparently, I've seen on an F1, a well-known F1 page, and they said that a football team in the Netherlands, I think a mid-ranked football team, would check Max Verstappen's name literally a couple of hours after the race.
That's
so
nice.
He's already making an impact, not only in Formula 1 but also in like other sports, and obviously in his home country in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And I put a status up on our Facebook page on the F1 debate show, and it was a video of Max Verstappen on the podium, and they're playing the Dutch national anthem. It was the first time we ever heard it on the F1 podium. And I said, right, this will be the first time you ever hear, probably the first time you'll hear the Dutch national anthem on the F1 podium. But trust me, by the end of this lad's career, you will be sick of it.
It will be like the German national anthem for Sebastian Vettel.
Literally, every single time I hear that German national anthem, I've got a picture of Sebastian Vettel just going on the podium in his Red Bull outfit for about 2013. Every time I hear it, honestly, it's ridiculous.
To be honest, I mean, by the way, guys, I've just thought of this. We are going to make a mini competition. Please comment underneath, what is the most upbeat national anthem you can hear on the podium? Do you want to know mine, JT?
What's yours?
It's ran for, not a driver, because we haven't seen it in a very, very, very long time, but it's for a constructor. It's Ferrari. The Ferrari Italian national anthem is so upbeat, and when Fernando Alonso was on the podium, obviously when he was driving for Ferrari, he'd always sing along. He'd always get the team involved in it. I say it's a very upbeat national anthem.
The Tifosi, definitely, obviously, as we all know, obviously team from Maranello, obviously singing the national anthem, very, very proud. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Oh, it has been.
It has been a while.
Very.
Not only obviously for a constructor, but it's been even longer for an Italian driver. To be fair, I don't even know who the last one was. Was it? I don't even know who it was. What's the Italian win?
Fisichella?
Fisichella?
Maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you can tell us, guys. Just comment underneath.
I would have thought so, because obviously, unless you did, Arnold truly win?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
We're useless at this.
We're not great. You used to be on the F1 debate show, right? Let's swiftly move on from national anthems. But by the way, I will say, JT, that two things. Obviously, one, Max Verstappen, was a brand new winner in Formula One, and that happened at the Spanish Grand Prix in 2012 with Pastor Maldonado. And also, you've just said there that people obviously will hear the Dutch national anthem a lot more times. Do you think people were saying that about the Venezuelan national anthem as soon as he won? Like, we're going to hear this again.
No, well, there wasn't really that much hype around Maldonado when he first came into Formula One. It took him a while to actually win a race, and obviously we all knew that the Williams was better, but it wasn't capable of winning the race. He did perform very, very well on that particular weekend, but ever since then, it never really came for him. But there's a lot of attention, a lot of ambition and passion, everything around this young kid, and that's why I think everyone's just getting like, right, this Dutch national anthem is going to be.
It is.
It's going to be literally the national anthem of Formula One.
Yeah.
At the end of his career, and as I've said, give him the right car, he can beat any record. Any record will be Max Verstappen's.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. But it's very funny, JT, and I saw a meme today. Earlier in the week that I saw, and it said that Max Verstappen has won a race this season and Lewis hasn't. Or something like it's funny that Max has won a race and Lewis hasn't, because he hasn't. But it must be heartbreaking for Lewis Hamilton. This, I mean, he's come off the 3 World Championships, going for a 4th, and he's at round 6. Well, let's say he's obviously the start of round 6, which was Monaco. He's going to get that far without a win, and he'd be disappointed. And also as well, obviously the calamities of what happened in Spain. But he'll be horrified, won't he, JT? He won't be himself.
Oh, definitely not. No way.
No, Lewis in the media at the moment. What do you think? Do you think he's just very calm under pressure, or do you think he's just putting on a face for the media? Obviously, telling everyone that he's calm and he's collected under the pressure of not winning when his Mercedes teammate and rival and hatred, his enemy, if you like, is winning. Obviously, 7 in a row, was going for 8 until they crashed. So it'd be horrible, won't it, for Lewis? So how do you think his perception in the media is?
He will be going for as a very calm character, as Lewis normally does. So we'll never really understand the true feeling what is happening, what is going on under that skin of his, and obviously putting on a brave face in the media. He will say how it is in a way, but Lewis doesn't really like to give much detail out to the media, so we won't, as I said, we won't really understand how he's feeling. But I would probably guess he's feeling very, very much under pressure. If he wasn't under pressure before, for the first 4 races, he definitely must be now. If he's causing silly mistakes like that,
yeah.
A 3-time world champion going for 4, and he does crashes into your own teammate, went for a gap that pretty much wasn't there. It was being a bit too ambitious, and everything went kind of wrong, and he will definitely feel the heat. And obviously, there has been rumours that he could take a year off in 2017, which would be stupid, if I'm honest with you, because I mean that's just like Sebastian Vettel all over again. I'm out of a bad season. I'm going to go for him.
Well,
just face it. Just get over it. Just fight for the title.
Yeah.
Just have another. Even if you don't win it again, have another go.
See, I think that's stupid. To think that after this year he's on top. He's still in a very fast car 3. That he could be looking at that. So obviously, as you said, JT, he could be looking at sabbatical. He could be looking at a year out. He could be. Well, I mean, he could. Obviously, if he's going to stay in Formula One, he'll have to look for another team. But what team will have him? Obviously, for your example, you've got Red Bull, who. Obviously, Christian Horner said, he hasn't said that they closed the market, but he said, though, that at the end of the year, they're most definitely, probably about 99%, not going to look for any other drivers, because obviously they're happy with Daniel and Max. Obviously, both race winners, both very comfortable at Red Bull and will achieve more. And then obviously you've got other teams, Ferrari will move into them in a set. Obviously you've got Vettel and Raikkonen, again, 2 drivers who are very happy. So, if Hamilton, what could Hamilton do next year if he doesn't stay at Mercedes, JC?
Well, in terms of top teams, you've probably got Williams, which he could possibly go to because that's a historic team, and Ferrari. Now, the two drivers who could easily replace are Felipe Massa, who's getting on a bit, and same with Kimi Räikkönen, who's obviously a bit of speculation over his future. And pundits and journalists alike have been saying that Lewis Hamilton should join Ferrari before the end of his career. It's something what Ayrton Senna never did, and obviously we've been comparing Lewis Hamilton as a modern day Ayrton Senna.
Yeah.
Obviously that was his hero, and he's certainly he's good in the West. He's good at pole positions. Yeah. He's good at under pressure and races and stuff. And to go to Ferrari would be a good achievement. You know what I mean? Because again, that's every F1 driver's dream.
Oh yeah.
Lower ranked drivers' dream to drive for Ferrari.
Yeah.
And it would be nice. It would be good to see. And I think it would probably reassure Lewis and maybe rebuild his career, but like what Sebastian Vettel's doing. We'll try and do this season, anyways. There is every single chance that he might not. He might end his career at Mercedes because that's so far the top the team to be at.
Yeah, yeah.
Or he could do similar to what Ayrton Senna did when McLaren did well in 91, and then in the past couple of seasons they didn't really do as well. Obviously, because Williams were the team that had the most technological advanced car, which made everything a lot faster. So Ferrari or Red Bull were to step up again and be that team, and Lewis and obviously Mercedes start falling off the pace, then Lewis would be like, well, I want to go to Ferrari, I want to go to Red Bull.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it all depends how that plays out. But then the main talking point you're going to talk about is dollar. Yeah.
Do you think Ferrari would be accepting of Lewis? Obviously, knowing what he's been like, knowing what he was at Mercedes. Do you think they would be? So, say obviously, if Kimi goes at the end of the season, do you think Ferrari would be very, very? Do you think they'd be happy? Like obviously with Arriva Bene at the moment, do you think he would be? Do you think he would encourage Lewis to come here, like how Nicky did? Obviously, when he encouraged to come from McLaren.
Possibly. I mean, obviously, he hasn't really said anything much about the topic, but let's not forget that Ferrari have got their own driver academy, which they don't really seem to use, which is a bit of annoyance.
Yeah.
Unlike Red Bull, who just get drivers from Toro Rosso.
Oh yeah.
Give out Verstappen.
Yeah.
Like Ricardo and drivers like that, and obviously Vettel most famously.
And one's Fiat.
Oh yeah. And they don't really seem to promote their young drivers into the team. I'd probably say the only driver who really had a chance of getting from the rank team to the Ferrari was obviously the late Jules Bianchi, who obviously unfortunately circumstances wasn't able to fulfil that dream.
Yeah.
And he was the only driver that could possibly do that. And I don't think there's nobody that could really jump from the lower teams up to the lower ranks, into Ferrari. So again, they have been going with top drivers in like Alonso, Raikkonen, Vettel, and stuff like that, and Massa himself as well. And they could possibly consider Lewis. If I were Ferrari, I would definitely consider Lewis, but obviously not too late because he is getting on a bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's still young. He's still in his prime. Probably about 34, 33, 34. We could probably see him dropping off the pace a little bit. Maybe not. We could be wrong. But obviously, like I said, we really don't know. That's a confusing thing with Formula 1. You don't know who's going to be the top team in the next 3 to 4 seasons. Yeah. Because it keeps changing. Obviously, with the rules next season, they're changing again, and that could promote Red Bull back. This could be Williams this time forced in it. This could be McLaren. Could
Manor.
See Lewis Hamilton back at McLaren. Sure, McLaren somehow come from
See, I'm not sure. Just at the moment, I mean, for example, obviously JT, that Lewis came to Mercedes at the end of 2012, and he was saying that he knew Mercedes weren't as good as McLaren. He was going there for a challenge. He was going to the underdog team, but still, using McLaren as an example, I don't think he'd ever go there because what they were like even since he left in 13 with Checo, in 14 with Magnussen, in 15, and then this year with Alonso. Obviously, 15 was dreadful. Most definitely their worst year in the 60 odd years McLaren have been running. I don't think he would ever go back. And so last thing I'm going to say about Mercedes, JT, is we talk about Lewis might leave. What about Nico? Do you think he would ever leave? Because he hasn't said much, or hasn't been much like that sneaked out that Nico would leave. I think he will stay with Mercedes for his whole career. But what do you think? Do you think he would go somewhere if, say, either the team doesn't work out or his relationship with Lewis doesn't work out?
The difference between Rosberg and Hamilton is that Hamilton joined with a big team on his F1 debut, so he's always been, that driver who's like the main man, the face of Formula One.
Yeah.
So you couldn't imagine him at a smaller team, unlike Rosberg, who was at Williams, who were in the midfield, and obviously then he was with Mercedes from day dot. So again, they were in the midfield, and he gradually worked his way up. Obviously, he came with the development. So if Rosberg were to go leave Mercedes, I could see like Force India, go back to Williams, possibly McLaren. Obviously in other teams, Haas. If Haas obviously jump up the grid as well because they're doing all right. So I could imagine Rosberg going to like teams like that. Lewis, I couldn't. But I think Rosberg will probably stay at Mercedes for the remainder of his career, unless Ross Brawn were to return.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean. Obviously, they were good buddies, so he could go where Ross Brawn goes. You never know. We really don't. know. I mean, I think that their drives will be secure for a good couple of years now. Obviously, there are going to be rumours like, Hamilton's going to leave, Rosberg's going to leave, they're both going to be sacked, blah blah blah, blah, and that won't until Kingdom Come. But I think their driver status will be secure. But the one driver I want to talk about just a little bit, just before we end, is Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah.
Now, this is a driver who obviously is very, very talented and very, very fast. He's only won one world championship, which I would say isn't enough for like Kimi Räikkönen, because he's a very talented driver and extremely fast. And ever since come back in the Formula One, the highest he's finished was third, and that was his first season back with Lotus. And since then, he did well in 13, winning the first race. Didn't win a race since. But when he came back to Ferrari, he had a torrid time in 2014. He finished in 12 on 55 points for Kimi Räikkönen. That's just awful. Then obviously last season was a bit better. He finished fourth on 150 points, which was decent. But now Räikkönen's at his stage of his career where he's either going to sign a 1-year extension on his contract or he's going to leave Formula One. A bit like Mark Webber.
Yeah.
And obviously he hasn't really delivered results at the end of last season, like what Seb was, because Seb was winning races left, right, and centre. Whereas Kimi wasn't. Kimi hasn't won a race obviously since that Australian Grand Prix in 2013. And obviously the past 2 seasons he has had the car to win a race, and he hasn't really delivered. So Ferrari a bit like, right, is it time to get rid of him and maybe bring somebody else in? But now he's starting to show signs of the old Räikkönen that we used to see, that fighting determination. He very nearly won the race obviously a few days ago on Sunday, obviously beaten by the talented Max Verstappen, and came close there. Obviously 3rd place in Russia, 2nd place in Spain. Monaco, he could possibly win. Obviously, he's got plenty more races to eventually win a race. And if he does win a race this season, I believe that will convince Ferrari enough to keep him.
Yeah.
Should he fall for pace towards the end of the season, I believe that could be the end of Kimi Räikkönen. So, I possibly think that that's right. This could be Räikkönen's last season. Should he fail to win a race or start falling off the pace anytime soon? But anyways, Elsie, what's your opinion on the matter? Do you think Räikkönen would stay? Do you think Räikkönen will sign a 1-year extension, or do you think he'll leave and go elsewhere?
I think at the start of the year, JT, and as I said to you, I said that Kimi, really needs to impress very early on, unless he won't be signed, and most definitely he'll go in either rally like he did when he left Ferrari, obviously the first time, or he will be out of Ferrari because they'll think that he's getting old. He's 36 years old. He's there's other people, there's other talent coming in. For example, obviously, if the circumstances were different and it was, say, coming close to the winter period and signing, Max was a free agent, let's say, and Kimi was a driver, I'm sure they'd even kick Kimi out for Max. But at the moment, how he's performing, JT, as I said, the 3 points in 5 races is unbelievable. He is he's really performing. He's really turning heads, and he's a great driver to watch. I think he'll stay in. I think I've changed my mind completely from what I said maybe a few F1 debate shows ago when I said that Kimi would be out. I think Kimi will be in for next year. He'll be in that Ferrari seat. And wanting to perform again. It'll be at least you've got an oldie out there who's being on top, because obviously the other ones like Massa and Button, unfortunately, aren't at the stages that they want to be. But Kimi is definitely. So maybe you do perform better at the experience, and he might leave when he does. When he leaves Formula One, he will probably leave with an amazing story, and even in his last season, he might be up there with fighting. Technically, like he is now. He's fought for the win on numerous occasions. and he was fighting for the win on Sunday, and I think he will again. And the same JT with Monaco, you know, he could win. Before we thought it was going to be a Mercedes domination, but now you think, well, we've got Max Verstappen, we've got Daniel Ricciardo, we've got Seb, obviously much better position than he was. I wouldn't say in Red Bull, obviously, but he's in a great position, better than he was last year at Ferrari, his first season. So Kimi could win, and if he does, as I say, JT, you know, if he gets a few good solid points, a few good solid podiums this year, it'll definitely change Ferrari's perspective on if they sign him again next year. I think if he wins, they definitely do that for a good few years in multi-year contract. So
yeah, I hope he stays. I hope Kimi stays. He's a very talented driver, very good driver, and
yeah,
he is one of my favourites. But obviously, everyone must hang up their helmet at some point.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I mean, Kimi might have more, other ambitions. Might go, I want to go back to rallying, or I want to go in IndyCar, whatever that is. he might want to go in DTM, or I don't know. They might want to come on the F1 debate show. Might be a host.
I could see Kimi coming on as a host. Just imagine that, JT. You've got, hi, my name's LC, my name is JT, and my name is KM. No, KM. Kim. I don't matter. I was getting confused in my head. It's thinking on the spot. So it's very strange. And as you say, JT, obviously, if situations were different, and obviously Jules Bianchi was still with us, he would have most definitely got that seat. Maybe not this season, because again they would have probably thought Kimi might stay. But when Kimi did go, I could bet probably everything I had that Jules would get that seat alongside Seb.
I think Jules would have had. I think this season would have been Jules' season. I think last season, obviously there was talk he signed with Sauber. Then I believe that Reitner would have left and Jules would have had this season.
Yeah.
This season, but obviously we'll never know. But that's for another video.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we'll never know, but we can definitely guess and hope for and just think, what could have been in his career. Anyway, guys, that's going to be the end of the F1 debate show. So thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please catch our review, which came out on Sunday. On Friday, we have F1 Decoded episode 5, which is the Battle of the Brazilians, Emerson Fittipaldi v Nelson Piquet. So please catch that. We're halfway through the F1 Decoded mini-series, so please tell us how you're liking that. If you are, we hope you are. We are really happy with our progress at the moment. We have 2 videos at time of recording, which are over 500 views. We also have hit 50 subscribers, which we're very happy about. We set the target to get that before the British Grand Prix, which is in about 5 weeks' time, so we're very happy with that.
So we've smashed it.
We've smashed. Could we get 100 before the summer break?
that would be a good target. I would say let's try and get 60 before the British.
60 before the British Grand Prix.
60 before the British Grand Prix, if we can.
Yeah.
100 before the summer break. Maybe.
You never know.
Or maybe 150 till the end of the season.
Yeah, possibly. It's all exciting stuff, guys. It's all exciting stuff. So thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you for the next video. Thank you very much, guys. See you later.
See you later, guys. Take care.
Bye.